It was a moonless night, the kind of night where the darkness seems to swallow everything. The air was thick with an eerie silence, and the only sound came from the occasional rustling of the trees in the wind. In the middle of a dense forest, there was a clearing where a group of people had gathered. They were dressed in black robes, and their faces were painted with intricate designs. In the center of the clearing, there was a large pentagram inscribed on the ground with black salt. The group had come together to perform a dark ritual, a summoning of a demon from the depths of hell. They believed that by offering a sacrifice, they could gain immense power and control over the world. The atmosphere was heavy with a sense of anticipation, and everyone waited in silence for the ritual to begin. Suddenly, a woman stepped forward, dressed in a crimson robe. Her hair was long and black, and her eyes shone with a manic light. She was the high priestess, and she began to chant in a language that no one in the group could understand. As she continued to chant, the ground began to tremble, and a gust of wind swept through the clearing. The group felt a surge of fear and excitement, knowing that they were close to completing the ritual. The high priestess lifted a dagger and approached the center of the pentagram. In her other hand, she held a small, trembling animal, which she then sacrificed on the pentagram. As the blood spilled onto the ground, the pentagram glowed with an unholy light, and a figure began to materialize in the center. The figure was dark and sinister, with glowing red eyes and sharp claws. It was the demon they had summoned, and it had come to claim the souls of the group. The group was paralyzed with fear as the demon began to stalk towards them, each step sending shockwaves through the ground. Suddenly, the demon stopped in its tracks and let out a piercing scream. Its eyes widened, and its form began to flicker. The group realized that something was wrong, and they tried to run, but it was too late. The demon let out a final roar and exploded into a cloud of black smoke. The group was left in shock and confusion. They had failed to summon the demon, and they knew that they had angered the forces of darkness. As they began to pack up and leave the clearing, they noticed that the pentagram had been burned into the ground. It was a permanent reminder of the dark ritual that had taken place, and a warning to anyone who dared to meddle with the forces of evil. As the group dispersed into the night, they couldn't shake the feeling that something had followed them. They felt a presence lurking in the shadows, waiting for its chance to strike. They knew that they had made a grave mistake and that the consequences would be dire. From that day forward, they lived in fear, haunted by the memory of the demon they had summoned and the dark powers they had awoken. But little did they know that the ritual had awakened something far more sinister than they could have ever imagined. A dark force had been unleashed, and it was only a matter of time before it would reveal its true nature and claim its next victim.